There is a man in your neighborhood. He drives a 10-year-old car. He wears no watch you can name. He eats at the same modest restaurant every Friday. And last year, he quietly purchased his fourth property in cash. There is a woman in your office. She never talks about money. She never posts about vacations. She never mentions her investments, and her net worth is 4 times that of the most loudly successful person in the building. You have seen these people. You may have dismissed them because they do not look the way wealth is supposed to look. They do not perform it. They do not announce it. They do not need you to see it. And that, precisely that, is the first invisible habit. But there are 6 more, and each one is more counterintuitive than the last. Habit 1. They separated their identity from their income a long time ago. The loudly rich need you to see their success because their success is their identity. Remove the car, the watch, the vacation photo, and there is nothing left that they recognize as themselves. The wealth is performing the self. The silently rich separated these things years ago. Their identity is not their net worth. It is not their lifestyle. It is not their possessions. It is something internal, a set of values, a way of operating, a relationship with their own thinking that exists completely independently of what they own. This separation has a profound practical consequence. When market conditions change, when a business fails, when an investment underperforms, the silently rich person does not experience an identity crisis. They experience a financial setback. These are not the same thing. One requires rebuilding your sense of self from scratch. The other requires adjusting a strategy. The person whose identity is separate from their wealth can think clearly in adversity. The person whose identity is their wealth cannot. And clear thinking in adversity is where the greatest financial decisions are made. Habit 2. They are obsessively patient in a world that is obsessively urgent. Here is a pattern that runs through the financial histories of almost every quietly wealthy person ever studied. They waited longer than most people could tolerate, for the right opportunity, for the right price, for the right moment. While everyone around them was acting, buying, selling, investing, reacting, they were waiting. Warren Buffett, the most documented example of silent wealth building in modern history, describes his strategy as being fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. But the less quoted part of that philosophy is the waiting. The Berkshire Hathaway portfolio has positions that have been held for decades, not years, decades. Most people cannot hold a stock for 6 months without anxiety. The silent wealth builders understand something the urgency addicted never learn. Time is not neutral. It is actively working for you or against you, depending on what you do with it. Compound interest does not reward those who act quickly. It rewards those who start early and then leave their decisions alone. Every premature move interrupts the compounding. Every act of impatience costs something. The patient investor does not just avoid losses, they collect the gains that impatient investors abandoned. Habit 3. They treat every expense as a vote. The silently rich do not think about money the way most people do. Most people think about money in terms of what they can afford. Can I afford this? The silently rich think about money in terms of what they are building. Does this move me toward or away from what I am constructing? Every expense is a vote for the kind of financial life you are building. The daily coffee is not $1.80, it is a vote. The subscription you forgot about is a vote. The upgraded phone you bought because the old one still worked is a vote. None of these votes individually determines your financial future, but the accumulated direction of 10,000 small votes over 10 years reveals an extraordinary amount about where you will end up. This is not about deprivation. The silently rich are not miserable ascetics denying themselves pleasure. They are intentional. They make deliberate choices about what their money votes for. and they ruthlessly eliminate votes for things they do not actually value, because those votes are going somewhere. They are always going somewhere. The question is whether they are going where you chose or where the path of least resistance took you. Habit 4. They are never the most knowledgeable person about their own success. Here is a habit that seems paradoxical until you understand it. The silently rich are deeply, systematically humble about the limits of their own knowledge. They are almost paranoid about what they do not know. And this paranoia, this disciplined epistemic humility, protects them from the single most consistent destroyer of quietly built wealth: overconfidence. The trader who made 3 correct calls in a row and now believes he has a system. The entrepreneur who succeeded once and now believes success is a character trait rather than a confluence of factors, including luck. The investor who rode a market upswing and now believes they predicted it. Every one of these people is building toward a catastrophic mistake that their overconfidence will not allow them to see coming. The silently rich person actively seeks out information that contradicts their current view. They surround themselves with people who will tell them they are wrong. They treat their own opinions as hypotheses to be tested, rather than conclusions to be defended. And when evidence contradicts their position, they update, quietly, without drama, without ego defense. They are more committed to being right than to having been right. Habit 5. They build in silence because silence is a strategic asset. This is not shyness. This is not modesty for its own sake. This is strategy. When you announce your plans, you activate a set of social dynamics that work directly against execution. You receive premature validation that mimics the feeling of achievement without any of the work. Your brain registers the congratulations as partial completion of the goal, and motivation decreases. This has been documented in laboratory conditions by researchers studying goal intention and behavior. When you announce your wealth, you create targets. Tax authorities pay closer attention. Relatives appear. Friends calculate what you owe them. Competitors identify you. Business counterparties know your position before negotiations begin. The person who negotiates from a position of unknown strength is always in a better position than the person who has already revealed their hand. Habit 6. They are allergic to lifestyle inflation. This is the habit that most directly separates the quietly wealthy from the loudly broke. Lifestyle inflation, the automatic upgrading of your standard of living every time your income increases, is the primary mechanism by which income earners at every level remain perpetually one financial shock away from catastrophe. The silently rich break this mechanism, not by living poorly, by creating a deliberate delay between income increases and lifestyle increases. When their income goes up, they do not immediately upgrade their car, their apartment, their wardrobe. They bank the difference. They invest the difference. They let the difference compound. For months, for years. Sometimes they never upgrade at all, because they have discovered that the upgrade does not actually increase their satisfaction at the level they imagined it would. Every time a person resists lifestyle inflation, they are making a decision that looks costless in the moment, but is worth an extraordinary amount over time. The person who earns $100,000 and lives on $70,000 and invests $30,000 consistently will, within a decade, have accumulated a position that generates passive income. The person who earns $100,000 and lives on $100,000, regardless of how successful they appear, has built nothing that persists beyond their next paycheck. Habit 7. They invest in the reduction of future costs before they invest in the acquisition of future assets. This is the least glamorous and most powerful habit on this list. Before the silently rich person buys an asset that generates income, before the stocks, the properties, the business stake, they invest systematically in eliminating the drains on their existing resources: debt at high interest rates, dependencies on things that increase in cost over time, inefficiencies in their personal operating costs, habits that produce health costs down the line. relationships that are net extractors of energy and resource. They address these first. They eliminate the leaks before they try to fill the bucket. Most people approach wealth building by trying to add more while the existing drains continue running. They add a new income stream while carrying high-interest consumer debt. They invest in a business while paying premium prices for every recurring cost in their life. They try to build upward while the foundation is actively losing value. The silently rich understand that a dollar saved from unnecessary cost is worth more than a dollar earned from new income, because the saved dollar requires no additional tax liability and no additional effort to maintain. They build from the foundation up, not from the roof down, and by the time they add assets, the systems underneath are tight, efficient, and leak